Are you one of those people that every time you go to a restaurant, you just have to order scallops if they're on the menu because, oh my God, they're scallops and they're so good and they're so great, but you never really cook them at home? And why don't you cook it at home? Is that because they look like this or like this? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the absolute most perfect scallops every time. And when they're done, they're going to look like this. Whether you're a beginner cook or a seasoned veteran in the kitchen, this video is going to show you everything you need to know about scallops. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to find the perfect scallop, how to clean them, how to get that amazing char on top, what to look for when they're done. Now, if we're meeting for the first time, my name is Michael Ponzio and I make cooking videos for you. Now let's talk about the different types of scallops. Scallops come in all different sizes. There's base scallops, 10-20 scallops, U8 scallops, U10. These are U10 scallops, and what it means is that there's under 10 scallops per pound. So that's a general rule towards the size of the scallops. And what you want when you do scallops is you want to get a bigger scallop, and that's very important because the larger the scallop is, the better it's going to sear up, and you're going to get a much more even char on the top. And that's really important when we're cooking the scallops because we don't want to overcook them and have rubbery, chewy scallops. We want them to be succulent and moist inside and delicious and be able to cut through with a spoon. But if they're too small, they're not going to get a great char on them. You can get some char, but you're not going to get that really amazing char. So when I cook scallops, I always use U10 or higher, meaning U10 or U8. So they're really, really big scallops, and they're real fantastic, and they're very easy to find. So let's talk about what we're looking for when we want to find a great scallop to cook. It's important that your scallop has a smooth texture on the top. If it has a little bit of a crack inside, it's not the end of the world, but you don't want them to be split up. You don't want to have a bunch of little pieces because you're not going to get a nice even cook. You want them to be slightly firm, and I don't mean firm as in hard, I mean firm as in not mushy and spongy. So when you press on it, you want to know there's a little bit of resistance, and then they should have just a very sweet aroma. They shouldn't be smelling like bad seafood. That's very important. Your scallops should have a natural sweetness. They should smell like a sweet ocean. And if you remember that smell, like anytime you go to a beach and you pick up that just amazing, delicious waft of air, that's what your scallops should smell like. We have to get in what's called cleaning the scallops. And cleaning doesn't mean washing. It doesn't mean anything like that. What it means is that there's a little abductor muscle on the side on a majority of scallops. And you can see it's a slightly different color than the rest of the scallop. It's also flapped off to the side. So how do we clean this thing? It's very simple. You're just going to take your finger, press it in, and it pulls right off. Now this, unfortunately, is garbage, but this part of the scallop is absolutely fantastic, and this is the part that we're going to cook. You'll be able to see not all the scallops have them. This one doesn't. When we get into cooking scallops, we're not going to use an oven. No matter how big the scallops are, I never put them in the oven. And that's kind of important to know because I want all the focus and attention to be on the texture of the scallop and on the char and the crust it's going to get. And there's all different opinions on the coloring of scallops. Me, I love a nice, hard, golden brown sear. A nice, beautiful, even char. So I do it in a pan from start to finish. Let's take a minute to run through the tools we're going to need to actually do these scallops and get you knockout perfect scallops every time. First thing you need is scallops. Next is a nice saute pan with a flat bottom. You don't need a non-stick pan. You could use a non-stick pan, but it's not necessary. A spoon, butter, salt. I like kosher salt. It works much better to me for the sake of seasoning. It dissolves very nicely. Olive oil and a paper towel. Paper towel is key. This is going to make all the difference. I know it seems a little silly, but this is going to make all the difference. And if you saw my video on cooking salmon, you'll see I use a paper towel there too. It's a very important tool when you're cooking fish. So the first thing I always do when I'm doing scallops and getting them ready to cook is I look to identify the searing part, the presentation side, and that means the nice, smoother side of the scallop. The underside may have some little cracking, and again, that's not a bad thing, but I want to know that the part that's hitting the pan is the smoothest and best side possible. I'm going to take my paper towel and lightly press it on top of the scallops. And this is important because you're going to see that this is going to pick up a fair amount of moisture. All this moisture is going to get in the way of the char you get on your scallops. As you can see, I mean, there's a good amount of water on there. If there's water on there, you're going to create steam before you create caramelization, and that's what's going to hurt you getting that great color on your scallops. The next tip I have for you when it comes to scallops is do not marinate your scallops. Do not try and do some fusion kind of marinade where you're infusing flavors into it. You just want salt, or you can use an herb crust or blacken them or anything like that. but just a simple coating of seasoning on top is going to make a huge difference in the quality of the scallops and the way they cook. So I take my salt and I just give a nice seasoning to one side. You'll be able to see I'm seasoning from kind of high up, but I want a good even blanket of seasoning on the scallop. And I'm only seasoning the presentation side because while these are pretty thick, as they cook, they're going to shrink up quite a bit. So too much salt is actually going to just ruin all the work that we're doing right now. And they have a nice even coating. I season these right before they hit the pan. So let's take these over to the stove and we'll get them in the pan. So I start my pan on a medium-high heat. And I'm going to let the pan have enough time to heat up. I want the metals to expand. I want the pan to open up and temper. So when I put the scallops and the oil in, it's ready to rock. So now that my pan's heated up, scallops are about to go in. I want just enough oil to lightly coat the bottom of the pan. I'm not looking to drown these scallops. We are going to add fat later in the cooking process. You should see the oil kind of crackling and rippling here. That means that the pan is definitely hot enough, but we don't want tons of giant waves of smoke coming through. I'm going to take the scallops and place them right in the pan, and you should see an aggressive sizzle, but I don't want this to be just ripping hot and flashing when I put them in. The other tip is when you put the scallops in the pan, you want to make sure there's enough space between the scallops. You see all this steam coming up? That's what's going to affect, if they're all together, they're going to steam instead of caramelizing, and that's what's going to hurt your chance of having a really beautiful golden brown scallop. What I do every once in a while is just take the pan and kind of turn it to make sure the oil is kind of kissing all those areas, and you'll start to see some color happening right underneath the scallop. The most important thing at this point is do not try and move your scallops. Once they're on and they're stuck to the pan, let them ride, let them do their thing. So as the scallops start to cook and they start to pick up a little bit of color on the bottom side, I'm going to take some butter and put it right in the pan. At this point, I'm still on the medium-high heat, and I'm going to let this just kind of go. Now what's happening is a really cool reaction because the milk fats in the butter are starting to toast and brown and make brown butter. They're also dehydrating the meat of the scallop and bringing out those natural sugars inside and starting to caramelize them and turn them brown. As you can see here, I'm starting to pick up more color on the bottom side of the scallops. And if I take my spoon and just kind of move them, they'll flip over, but they're not ready to go yet. And not all of them may move, and that's okay. You don't want to move them too early. I am going to lower my heat down just a little bit at this point because I'm starting to get some great color. And if you notice one part of your pan is getting hotter than the other, just turn your pan. This is my favorite part, the flipping, the unveiling of the scallops and seeing just how great that color is. Now you can see there's a lot less steam coming up. That's because the moisture has cooked out for the crust and is going to give us a really great char on the scallop. So let's flip this over and take a look. Oh, wow. 2, 3. Oh my goodness. At this point, once they have that color and that char, I'm just going to turn the pan off. So turning the pan off, this heat is still coming through and it's cooking the bottom side of the scallop, but I'm not looking for color on that side. But the crust is just dynamite, absolutely phenomenal. So these scallops are looking great. They've been in the pan for a few minutes, flipped already, and then let's check and see how they look. They should have a nice spring to them when you press down. You shouldn't see any opaque sides. It should be a nice, smooth white color. As they sit, like I said, they're continuing to cook, but these are done, and we're going to take them out of the pan and cut into them in just a minute. All right, so let's cut into these beauties and see what they look like, because I am starving. It's a very even color. And the even color means it's nice and cooked through. The fact that we can cut it with a spoon is a really great sign. This scallop is delicious. It's looking great. It's cooked perfectly. One of the best parts about this that I love is the variance in char, this really great crust here. This adds so much to the texture of the scallop. Because oftentimes when you eat scallops, they're kind of pale and they're just one color and they're just kind of thrown in there. This is just really fantastic and so many levels and dimensions of flavor, texture, all that. So let's dig into this because I love this. Oh my God, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And you cannot watch this video and tell me that this isn't something you can do at home because I know after seeing this, you can knock this out every single time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said earlier in the video, if you like cooking fish in general, I have a great video on how to cook perfect salmon at home. Lots of other great content as well. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want notifications on new videos coming out. I have new videos coming out constantly. Have a wonderful day, and I really, really want to hear about your fish. So leave it in the comments if you try this recipe, if you like it, and if there's other ones you want to see. Take care.